Hi everyone, it's Victor speaking. And today I'm here to speak about Mars entering the sign of Gemini. And I know I've spoken about this in my weekly video as well, but I thought I would give you a little bit of an extra content on this, and because this is quite a significant move. So as you might know, but Mars spent 6 weeks in the sign of Taurus, and beforehand it was in the sign of Aries for 6 months. So now it finally started moving a little bit faster, picking up the speed, and most probably it's going to indicate for us that our lives are going to pick up as well as a collective. Now, Mars will be in the sign of Gemini from the 3rd of March, from today, till 23rd of April. So it's going to be a little bit more than 7 weeks. And the major reason why I have wanted to make a different video as Mars will conjunct North Node. And that's going to be most felt from approximately the 17th of March till about the 7th of April. But the exact aspect actually is going to happen on the 26th to the 28th of March. So, but we will be speaking about the North Node Mars conjunction towards the end of the video. So stick around because I think it's going to be quite prominent. But I wanted to explore first what Mars means in Gemini. So actually, this is not going to be bad, and I'm very excited about it because Mars will be in a good configuration with planets in Aquarius. So there is going to be a trine for a good 2 months. And this is an aspect or configuration which is calling for communication. So with that very strong quality of Aquarius and Gemini, the freedom is very much emphasized. Aquarius rules people, so we are somehow forced to communicate with each other. And I feel like whenever the moon is going to be in air signs, that will be even more triggered. So that's going to be especially around the 10th of March and the 6th of April. But that's when the moon is going to be in the sign of Aquarius. But also when moon is in Gemini, that will amp this feeling as well. So I feel like the move of Mars from a technical perspective is quite important because in Taurus it was in detriment position and now it is moving into more like a neutral area. So the frustration might go down a little bit. Probably it's going to be easier to move through some of the restrained emotional blockages. It was in Taurus, it was more like a slow burner, a slow energy. Probably we felt, that we can't really act on things. Mars, at the end of the day, represents how active you are and how much desire to have to achieve something. So your motivation might pick up, but it might not be a sustaining energy. So Gemini Mars can be slightly bit scattered. You might find that you want to start to have more interaction with others, or you want to be reaching out for information, for instance, to get a book which you badly have wanted for a long time. This is quite a flexible quality. But the silver line is that, as I said, our brain can be quite scattered. So people can be a lot more adaptive and accommodating with this transit. But I would recommend not to do plenty of things at the same time because your curiosity might grow a lot, but you're not going to be able to finish off projects. Now, when it comes to your personal chart, just have a look at where Gemini is in your chart. And that is the area of life where you might want to take more action or to initiate something in regards to that department. So let's not forget that it has been 2 years since you had Mars here. So it is definitely going to energize the area of life for you. Whether for better or worse, it depends on the condition of your natal Mars, what type of energy it carries. Now, Mars is a superior planet, so it really, really to the social behavior and what's going on in the society. So the society can go from 0 to 100, but it could also happen on a personal level as well. Information could be flowing faster or coming in from plenty of directions. Gemini represents your thought patterns, how you process information. So I feel like, you're gonna have a very active mind. And let us not forget, each astrological alignment has got their positive and negative energy. So with Gemini, which represents your own mind, your ideas, for instance, you might be spending a lot more time on social media, or actually somehow social media matters will be enhanced and it will pick up. Maybe it is about something which will go viral for bad or good reason, doesn't really matter, but maybe you will be seeing some very important news on social media, which goes viral and everyone is going to be talking about it. Gemini rules things like newspapers. So it could actually indicate there will be plenty of gossips going on, and it's going to be kind of dividing the society into little segments. But probably I haven't said anything new with that because that always happens. Gemini is the sign of marketing, PR segment of your chart, and Mars is quite forceful. So, so it might be an indication that, for instance, in the next couple of months, you can actually go ahead and start advertising some of your projects you have initiated maybe at the beginning of the year. So Mars highlights activities, or it activates the realm of information, language, and logic. So, as I said, I'm also expecting that there might be some issues around social media, something which is going to be shocking, and someone needs to take an immediate action about it. There will be energies in the sign of Aquarius with Saturn and Jupiter there, which represents hierarchy figures. So I feel like there might be, even though it's a trine, there might be some initial confrontations going on between social media and the government. But with the trine, actually, we can sort that out. Maybe something will be published and it will shock people. Maybe it's a book, maybe it's TV, and so forth. So Mars in Gemini is kind of giving us an urge to talk up, sometimes a little bit too much as well. So, for instance, at workplace, so the workflow can be quite quick-paced, snappy, detail-orientated, maybe with too many little errands to run. When Mars is in the sign of Gemini, we tend to be a busy bee. So you may have at least two different irons in the fire, and it requires to be flexible and multitasking. Quick burst of activities with a high possibility of a last minute scramble to a deadline is very possible. However, it is also a very great time to introduce some training sessions, for instance, at work, or it's a great time to study, learn, and basically exploring new ideas. When it comes to relationship department, this is an unsettled energy for Mars. It's quite impulsive. So you might want to be taking on a number of directions. So you need to be trying to meditate or to use some type of techniques which is going to settle your mind, because you can have quite a sharp tongue and you can hurt others by your words. So therefore, choose your words carefully. We are a little bit more fragile as well nowadays, and we might be taking criticism, well, in a little bit of a feisty way. We might be just very chatty and talkative, but at the same time, we will need to learn how to listen to others as well. when it comes to the medical, the health department of this Mars in Gemini, well, basically it's a high-strung nervous system. So we can be a lot more anxious. There could be, unfortunately, inflammations in our fingers, hands, shoulders, but even pay attention to chest infections or something to do with the lungs, because there could be flare-ups with your asthma or just your nervous conditions. Uh, Also, Mars in Gemini, and I don't wish to scare anyone, but we can be a lot more prone to accidents, bruises, cuts, paper cuts. So watch out for those. Also, I feel like if you were born with Mars in Sagittarius, then this Mars in Gemini period um, is kind of a weak point in this 2 year cycle what Mars has, because it means that Mars is going to be opposing your natal Mars. So these could be quite stressful days for Mars in Sagittarius energies. Now, as I said, this aspect is kind of a sharp tongue aspect. So it's very easy to hurt others with your words, and therefore it's very easy to get into trouble as well. So because Mars represents police, if police stops you, for instance, for paperwork to show your ID, just be very careful of what you say, because you can end up in trouble. You might just want to tease others or joke around, and that is the reason why you might get into trouble. Also, watch out for gossips and rumors, because this could be quite a confusing time as well. It's very hard to know who to believe. But on the positive side, I love the fact that Mars in Gemini is all about exploration of new ideas and maybe starting new hobbies, or you don't have the interest anymore to sit around. So Gemini is actually the sign of business transactions. So you really want to pay attention to fraud and schemes. I feel like some of those, people who are attacking you with loans and the loan sharks will be kind of knocking on your door, or they're going to be sending you these fraudulent emails. Don't click on those if it seems like it's not a trustworthy source. Um, and especially the reason why, because we're going to have in March plenty of Pisces energy going on as well, which means that, so much mutable energy, we are a little bit scattered and less careful with these energies. So, but with all those trines to Aquarius, I feel like it will be a hot topic about censorship and whether you can speak freely or not. Interestingly enough, the reason why I wanted to mention that, because today I was just reading on an astrological page about, someone is trying to express their feelings and opinions about a COVID situation, and others didn't really take it well. So basically, it became kind of a debate. So we can expect situations like that. The interesting part of Mars in Gemini is that Mars is a hot and dry planet, and Gemini is actually a hot and wet planet, sign. So the fire and the air actually work quite well together, because air feeds fire. So, and that's where this kind of go-getting energy is very, very like impulsive. And the other way around, the fire is kind of creating some carbon dioxide. And that's why we can be quite poisonous as well at the same time. So because there are too many things that might interest us during this transit, it is very hard to stay focused on one thing for too long. So actually, the challenge here with this Mars in Gemini is to stay on track. You know, Gemini is a very diverse sign and nowhere near to commitment. So when it comes to relationship and meeting someone new, um, it might be just a flirt, you know, and you know, like a desire to be mentally stimulated by others. So as I said, watch out for any type of project because it's easy to leave them behind. So you might just want to be focusing on one or two things in one go, because because I would say that the best course of action now is sometimes to step back and analyze the situation. What Gemini is extremely good at, rather than becoming a sprinter who wants to run ahead the pack. So while Mars is in Gemini, the greatest um, you know, the greatest zone of our life is our brain. So therefore, it is all about mental stimulation, maybe with our partners before anything else. It's very much about the meeting of minds, and that might be becoming a turn on for you. So, but actually, this is a brilliant time to do loads of workout as well. Let's not forget Gemini is an air sign, so it's quite quick. So moving around, jogging, running is actually a brilliant time. Building a website or spreading words about your desire or building a social media channel and those type of things actually very favorable at the moment. The reason being is because people are going to be more curious to listen, to read, to study, to participate in some type of group activities as well. So, for instance, this transit is going to be happening in my fourth house, and this is the month, guys, when I'm moving. And interestingly enough, it's going to be happening on the day of the new moon in Pisces. Um, and it's going to be happening around my Mars, which rules my ninth house. So I'm moving to a foreign country. I'm going to be located in Bulgaria for at least 6 months, and then I see what I'm going to be doing next. So I'm quite excited. Most probably, you're going to be able to see my second or third week of astrological insight and tips and hints of how to, you know, use the energy to the greatest level from Bulgaria. So I'm very excited, you know, and I already kind of feel this Mars in Gemini because I feel like my mind is very active. It's a very, it is always buzzing nowadays with ideas. And you might find it a little bit difficult to relax, to slow down, or to take time to reflect and replenish yourself. And you can be living on the edges as well. So your nervous system, the nerve system can be a little bit, you know, tricky this time around. You might want to be accomplishing something in a short period of time. But believe me, the long-term commitment is gonna take you a lot further than just doing plenty of things in one go. Um, However, this time around, you can achieve some of your desires by your verbal skills. So the ability to speak clearly or vigorously, or you can be very convincing as well. So sometimes it's easier to get what you want. Now, you might be having a very strong sense of mission, and you instinctively know that to achieve anything great, you might need to be eliminating superficious or superfluous activities. So also it's a good positive trait of this Mars in Gemini. However, at the same time, Pallas Athene is going to be squaring Mars. Now, I have spoken about Pallas Athene before in weekly video. So I'm not going to be wasting your time that much. If you want to check it out, go back to that video and then you're going to gain a little bit more knowledge about that. But with Pallas Athene squaring Mars is definitely talking about that sometimes patience is what is best for us. So, and this can be very hard for you this time around, as you can see what needs to be done and how part of you just wants to jump ahead and do without the proper plan of attack. So, this is a very much of a patience testing time, and it very much wants you to be practical or practically utilizing some of your thoughts. It's all about strategic planning, and that needs to be part of your daily routine. So that's the key message with Pallas Athene squaring Mars. Now, I would say that, this Mars in Gemini energy is very much about like the youngsters are driving the car while they are texting or putting on their makeup or giggling with others. So it is very important that you can easily get distracted, and it could be quite surprisingly volatile behind the wheels as well. So just be very careful on the roads. Um, okay, so also this is a brilliant time to take new courses or to learn something. This is the time when actually your mind can take in a lot more information and it's easier to learn. But probably you want to be like structured about it and take some notes as well at the same time. This is also the combination of movement and activism. So I feel like this energy might bring some initiation of a movement in the world, which can even lead to strikes, for instance. Now, Mars also describes your sexual desire or something which you want to get badly. So some of you might get chatted up in the streets without any signs. Someone just walks up to you and then tries to talk you, to chat you up. Actually, in ancient times, Gemini was considered as a very sexual energy because its symbol was a man and a woman standing naked um, in front of each other. This is quite a youthful energy. So there could be even some scandals about sexual stuff. Someone was cheating on someone, and so forth. But you can also have a highly charged sexual desire as well. So kind of love is in the air, let's put it that way. Now, I would like to mention that when I'm talking about, you know, youthful energy or sexuality, I'm talking about committed relationships and not about, something else. I just want to remind you that I don't wish to get an attack because of, talking about a sensitive topic. Um, Also, this is a great period of time to do some administrative tasks. So maybe you're going to feel that it's a great time to get the administrative things out of the way. So, but also brilliant for trading, buying, selling. You can be very enthusiastic about a project. Also, this period of time, just watch out for any type of arguments with your neighbors or with your siblings as well. That's also possible. But a very high manifestation of Mars in Gemini is all about defending local communities or the perspective and the purpose of local communities. The danger of this aspect is that we can have polarities in our opinions, and that's why we can create some clashes. You have got the spirit of a warrior this time around, so it's a brilliant time to stand up for justice, in the localized environment. Um, Now, I would also mention that many people believe that Mars is the planet of action and it does not have a logical side. I don't necessarily agree with that. And the reason being is because Mars is the soldier. And the soldier does know that the only way to win a battle if there is strategy behind. So, in my opinion, Mars can be quite logical here as well, but definitely that initial hunger to fight kind of needs to cool down at first, needs to step back and then having a plan for the future. uh, Mars here wants to kind of repeat his own truth, and therefore we might not listen to others. Be careful about shoplifting, I think, in March and April, because it might be there might be an increase in the number of shoplifting and stealing and burglary and all those type of things as well. You might just want to win more friends over to you. Now, on a medical system, I did mention that, Gemini rules hands, breathing, shoulders, lungs, arms, your fingers, nerve system. So if you choose to do some exercise, just be careful about pulling your muscles. So some of the remedies for Mars in Gemini, and even though I'm not a huge fan of remedies, actually not a fan the way some people like do that you need to be wearing this crystal and that crystal. I feel like we all have got the chance to channel the higher manifestation of any planet. So the exercise in small groups is very good. For instance, a spinning class or bicycle rides are very, very good. Or you can write out your frustration because you don't want that frustration to get stuck within your body. You can just put it on a piece of paper. It's a brilliant time to talk to friends about your frustration. Or it's very good to learn new skills. Or it's also extremely beneficial time to become a entrepreneur. So now, as I mentioned, at the end of the month, we're going to start feeling it from the 17th of March. It has already been kind of building up, but Mars is going to be having a conjunction to the North Node. Now, the negative side of this could be physical violence. And as I said, I don't want to scare anyone, but the number of injuries and accidents are very likely. Also, anything related to driving and travel related matters could be quite prominent in that 2 weeks, in that 2 week period. But it does not need to manifest that way. So it can represent just conflicts within yourself or conflict with others as well. This is kind of an insatiable hunger archetype. So it's very hard to get satisfaction when the Mars and North Node are conjuncting. We can't get enough of doing things, so we can really overpush ourselves. Or we can be busy just for the sake of being busy because we are trying to overcompensate with something. So you must remember with Mars and North Node conjunction that the activity you choose to do must take you forward as well at the same time. You might have got hunger for information, news, knowledge, data. You can be extremely passionate or obsessed about reading or getting the latest phone. We might be very influenced by news, and the news is shaping and forming your opinion over something, and you don't hear other people's opinion or their side. Your mind can be quite stirred up. It might actually indicate that we need to step away and analyze the situation, as I said beforehand. What you might think that it's satisfying to you within this couple of month period of time actually you might realize later on it is not satisfying. So whatever North Node touches, it basically amplifies that. It's all about desire. So is the desire to be driven towards something? And I know socializing looks different at the moment than it was, let's say, 2 years ago. So it might not be about meeting people in person, but maybe you're gonna exchange emails and phone calls more often than before. You might be obsessed about buying electric devices, for instance. So um, in the community or on a social level, I feel like this could be a period of time when people are restless. So we might be expecting some well debates and arguments, as well as some political situations in governmental fields, or maybe people, because as I said, there is this trine going on towards Aquarius, which represents people. So they might want to force their opinion towards the government, and it could bring some type of clashes as well. So just be careful about it. Great. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did so, then please press like and ring the notification bell. Share this video on your social media. This is the time of social media at the moment, so that I can build my channel and then I can come up with more of these, I think, informational and important content for you. So have a blessed week, everyone, and see you very shortly. Bye-bye.